And a Swiss cheese defense. Without further ado, by the way, they had a great show today, and they came up with a really great topic for me and a great conversation piece about Bryce Huff. We're going to start it there. If you missed the show, it's an outstanding show. Birds 365, by the way, he is also on with us on our pre- and post-game show, the legendary JAKIB pre- and post-game shows. He is our friend, Big Z, Zander Krause. Holy cow, the Browns. Well, we'll take the Giants. We'll get one of them Cowboys. Yeah, I was like, where you going?
You misheard my ass, Big Sills. I was the one saying, hey, John, because there was a rating that came out yesterday that the Eagles have the easiest strength of schedule for the rest of the year. It wasn't me saying that. That was, they put out those analytics or whatever the hell they are. And I'm looking at it and I'm like, John, this doesn't look too good to me. If they come out with who they have, the Browns. Now the Browns, I will say,
how big is that Brown game? How big is that Brown game?
It's big for the Eagles to get their confidence back and everything. But I don't think that team is. I think they're the only team in the NFL that hasn't put up a 300-yard game on offense. So that offense is like not working right now in Cleveland. Now they got the Commanders this weekend, so that'll be interesting to see. But they're gonna get Nick Chubb back. I don't know. I don't like that game.
Got him back this week.
Yeah. So let me ask you a question though. It's we're 2-2. You want me to lay down like a dog and say, "Yo, give it to me. We stink. I'll talk to you in 2025." We're 2-2, Big Sills. Okay. I get it. The problems suck. I know. I'm so Sileo-ized I can barely put on my damn Eagle hat. I can barely wear my Eagle hat because I'm so Sileo-ized. But we're still 2-2. We still got to buy in. We still got to, you know what? I hope this team rallies behind the players. I don't know if they have any players that they can rally around, so maybe this won't work. But fuck the coaches. Fuck the front office. Fuck the owner. Fuck them all. Come in and play football. Play free. Play schoolyard football a little bit. You got some of the best players in the league all over the offensive side. Go out there and play free. Can they do that and win a couple ball games, get us into the playoffs? I think we're a playoff team this year no matter what. So I'm trying not to sell my soul here. I'm trying not to lie to myself and lie to the great people.
You're trying to convince yourself. It sounds like you're
trying not to lie to them, Big Sills.
It sounds like you're trying to convince yourself right now.
I'm trying to convince them and me. All right.
Hey, let me ask you this then. Well, let's start this therapy session off with this.
Yeah, I could use some therapy.
All right. Would you take Jaylen Herz right now over Kirk Cousins or Baker Mayfield after what you saw last night?
No. No. Kirk Cousins just sliced and diced all night.
15th greatest passing performance in pro football history.
Yeah, that's unbelievable. Now look, he's playing good football. He's always been a good quarterback, underrated quarterback.
Yep.
But I don't know. Baker maybe is a little bit of a different story. I just imagine Kirk Cousins in this offense.
Over 600 yards.
People are talking about Drake London like he's AJ Brown. Drake London's no AJ Brown.
No, he's not.
Darnell Mooney is no Devontae Smith.
Dude, Drake London,
Kyle Pitts is not even a Dallas
Drake
Goddard.
London is not Devontae Smith. He's
AJ Brown. It's unbelievable. Yeah, Kirk Cousins would and talk about our offensive line. Their offensive line's not as good as ours either. So Kirk Cousins in this offense, that's all I could think about last night. And my man Mac, who was chirping me a little earlier in the show today, he put up a tweet last night and he tweeted exactly what I was thinking as I'm watching the game. I'm sitting here, I'm working at night, I'm on my computer, and I got the TV right over, and I'm watching the game, and I'm sitting there, I'm like, Kirk Cousins is and Baker, these teams are way better than us. This team, this doesn't even look like the same sport that we're watching right now in Philly. Those offenses were humming last night. The whole game was really a really good game.
It was a great game. Was it great? Hey, Baker Mayfield has 11 touchdowns and 2 picks this year.
Yeah, he's playing good football, man. He's playing really good football. He's one of the best stories. I like story. I know, not some fans are like, fuck everybody but the Eagles. I get it. I like good stories. That's a
That is
good
a great
story, man.
take.
Yeah,
I'm gonna ask you this.
that's a good story with
Is
Baker. And
Jalen Hurts a great story in Philly or a great quarterback in Philly?
Jaylen Herz is neither of the above, I don't think,
I
anymore.
think it's a
I mean,
great
it was
story. A second
Jalen
round
was a
pick,
good story. Nah, it's not a good story anymore. When
but
you get paid, when you get paid
anymore.
$50 million, it's not a good story anymore, brother.
Here's where I'm going with this. Because Sam Darnold and Geno Smith and Kirk Cousins, those are good stories. I don't know they're going to win Super Bowls, get to a title game. I don't know that. I don't see that. When I look at Jalen Hurts and I see that 22 was a nice story. And like you said,
21 was because he was drafted to be a backup.
yes,
And, he went through the adversity.
and at
of
one time
college,
was a nice story.
yeah, everybody kind of gave him credit for getting benched at Bama, and it was cool. I mean, look, I lived it. I was at Bama at that time, so I'll tell you what, the bar went wild when they put in Tua. I'll tell you that much.
All I'm saying is
it was a cool story. But look, now it's he's the one who brought this on himself, right? He said rent's due and all those things. Well, we're locked in with you now, Jalen, and the rent's due, and you haven't risen up. That's kind of why I said, when I said I don't want to sell on this team too much because it's so early in the year. Like, go out and play ball, like you do in the fucking yard. Like, you got AJ. You have a top 5 offensive line. You're gonna have blocking.
Asking him to do.
Yeah, but that's my point. Go against it. If they're sabotaging you that much, go against it. My worry is I don't think he's very good at the off-schedule stuff anymore either. It doesn't look like he's really that great at that. He was good at that versus the Saints, but in the other games,
he had to be because there were injuries.
Yeah, but why?
And they let him do it.
Why is he not all the time?
Because they have primary targets they want to get to. You guys brought a topic up, and it's going to expand on what we're talking about here.
Yeah.
I heard John McMullen do this. He said this about Bryce Huff. Hey, that whole thing about Bryce Huff being a 3-down guy, they need to scrap that.
I agree.
Just put him in a situation of pass rush him on 3rd down, play him the same way the Jets played him, and you say you agree. Okay, well, get this. Here's typical Eagles. They look at a guy, and they think they can change him into being a 3-down guy. Same way they're trying to change Jalen Hurts on being a pocket passer. The Eagles believe they know what they're doing by overthinking what the player's skill is.
Well, yeah, this has been a problem. I mean, even when we won the Super Bowl.
But Bryce Huff is the poster child of what's wrong with Hurts. Hurts is not who you think they want him to be right now. He's showing you it's getting worse. It's not getting better. You're getting further away. And the further you get away, like you just said 2 minutes ago, he's not even making those plays that made him great look good anymore.
No, yeah, you're right.
You're doing the same shit we talked about yesterday to Carson Wentz. And to me, this is an organizational thing that comes from the top down, that when they're evaluating guys, Zander, look at the players that they don't fit. One player, get this, AJ's not on the field, the entire offense falls to shit. Dude, that shouldn't be that way.
I know. Especially when you're supposed to have a quarterback that elevates your team. I mean, that's what I mean. I think they got good weapons down there in Atlanta. They don't have half the weapons that we have. I would take the Eagles' weapons over that Atlanta roster all day and twice on Sunday.
Bijan is comparable to Barkley. Barkley's better, though.
Yeah, but Drake London and Darnell Mooney and Ray McLeod Sills are not A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith.
And not even remotely close.
Not even remotely close. And he's making them look like they are because, he's getting them the football. Kirk Cousins is very accurate. He's a good quarterback. But, to your point about changing everybody, yeah, I mean, look, that's what this organization believes. That's why they fired Doug coming off the Super Bowl. They felt like they were more responsible for the Super Bowl than any of the coaches or I think really even any of the players were. I mean, they view themselves. It's like they look in the mirror and they, take a picture. It'll last longer. They have a picture of themselves hanging, on their mirrors. So it's weird. It's this weird infatuation with, and that's the other reason that they won't change, because that they know it looks bad on them. They signed Bryce Huff. They're not going to, they probably won't let Vic change what they're trying to do with him, because Howie, put his eggs in his basket. with the free agency signing, and it doesn't look good. So,
and that's why he lies and says he's getting better.
My worry with Hertz is bigger too than just the changing of the style.
Yeah, their confidence level's completely gone here. You
said but even if because I was not debating, but talking to Bob Brown about this in the post game show, which is great. Everybody should tune into that. I bring on some people from the chat and from JAKIB Nation who come on every week after our post game show. So it's really good. I enjoy it very much talking to JAKIB Nation. Akbar's obviously been great on there. I've had Abe on a bunch of weeks, so it's really dope. Everybody should tune in for that. But I was talking to Bob Brown about this. And he's like, they should have kept him at the RPO. And I think that's a fair line of thinking. But I don't think it's fair to expect that would still work today. The league catches up to things very quickly. Jalen was a one-read guy that year, and that's why it worked. So
Jalen didn't have a high ceiling. He never had a high ceiling.
Well, no, and you've been saying that. And, I admittedly thought the ceiling was a lot higher than it's proving to be. But I don't think him staying in the system that worked in 22 would be working today in 24, which is why I'm not living in that realm. I've always said it.
At least you wouldn't be turning the ball over. At least you wouldn't be turning the ball over like you are.
Well, maybe depending on how the defenses were defending it. But when I said to you, Sills, all off season about the passing yards and about Jaylen Herz winning the MVP and about Kellen Moore, what was my number one thing? He's going to make Jaylen Herz a better passer, a better pro-style quarterback, which is the last thing Hertz needs to add to his game to have a long career in Philly. We've seen none
in the
of
league.
That.
Yeah.
Right, in the league. We've seen none of that. None of it. So all of my expectations for Jalen coming into the year are out the door because they're not even using him like I thought they were going to use him or trying to put him in those positions. And when he is in those positions, he's got 7 turnovers this year? And they're all like, even that fumble last week in 22, Jalen steps around Levante there and takes off.
Absolutely. Gets the first down.
There, he reset his feet and looked to throw, hesitated, and boom, the ball came down.
Yep.
So
and he's reckless in the pocket with that one hand.
You're right. Maybe it would help the turnovers, at least the RPO, but I don't think we'd be a good offense, dude. You can't have a one-read offense, Sills, when you're paying $175 million. I almost might not be able to criticize the front office for not allowing that. You're telling me I paid $175 for one read and run?
Yep. Well, because you have the wrong maestro.
Yeah.
You really have the wrong conductor here. Now here. I heard you say something else. Hook me up on this one here.
All right.
What do you think the Eagles need to work on during the bye week?
Look at Barb telling me I'm on Lori's payroll. Barb, if you knew my real feelings about Jeffrey Lurie, you would never write that comment. I got some great behind the scenes.
Come on,
stories.
Barb.
I got some great behind the scenes stories on Jeffrey Lurie that I will save for another time.
Good. Hey, Zander, what did you think they needed to work on in the bye?
Yeah. Back to the question. Thanks for getting me back on track. A lot, everything. I mean, everybody's talking about the defense, which they should be. Our defense is trash. And I understand that. Like I said, I'm concerned about this offense. I'm concerned about Jaylen Herz mostly about the offense. The defense is obviously a big problem. I will say that. I'm not going to dismiss that because every great quarterback in this league that goes the distance, that wins Super Bowls, does have the help of a good defense. Always. Patrick Mahomes, why did he win his last 2 Super Bowls? Because Andy Reid said, Tyreek Hill, get out of here. I'm about to boost up the defense. The defense got great.
Would you say also getting the ball out of the quarterback hands a little quicker?
For who?
Hertz? Some of the things to work on.
Well, yeah, sure.
Okay.
That's one of many.
You know what, Zand? I want you to stop with your evaluation there because everything you're right. Because I'm just going to go. You said offense, defense, Hertz. Get the ball out quicker. Well, how do you work on all that fucking shit when you give them a week off?
Yeah, that's a good question. That's our culture, though. And that's the team has taken on that culture.
You know what they need to work on. You know what the organization. This is why Nothing you said is wrong. Everything you said is right. But I want you to stop because you're wasting your breath. Because they gave him the week off, which means this. You know what the organization's mentality was? We don't think we're doing anything wrong. We think it's just injuries. And guys playing and that are young, and we'll get better by the end of the year. They don't think they're doing anything wrong.
Yep, it's true.
They don't think the quarterback is playing bad. They don't think any of this. You gave him a week off. Hey, Zander, you and me are from the place where you went to school with a guy named Nick saying, hey, you think Nick would have gave him a week off if they get beat by Auburn going in?
No days off, man.
Hey,
no.
They get beat by Texas A&M coming out of that game with Johnny Manziel. I heard that was hell week down there. Okay? I mean, dude, you just said go home.
Dude, it's the whole culture of this team. It's so that's why
go home.
We play soft. They coach soft. They act soft. They are the epitome of the word soft from top to bottom. Lurie, soft. Howie, soft. Coaching staff, soft. Quarterback, soft. Everybody is soft. Nobody wants, and I don't blame Jalen for that, by the way. I think Jalen wants to be coached hard, but everybody is very, and that's why
he came from Bama into that culture. It must be like a culture shock for him.
Yeah, well, he went to Oklahoma after Bama, so maybe he got.
Well, no, man, he probably got neutered there because they're soft there too. Under Lincoln Riley,
too, so
right.
No, it's just that's a perfect word, Jay. I mean, it's a cupcake organization right now. It's very modern, It's like the modern times. Everybody's so, cancel everybody who doesn't agree with you. It's just like the whole world. The Eagles organization is kind of a good embodiment of that right now, and that's a sad thing if you know what I'm talking about.
How about this? I saw Seth Joyner put out there like the workouts that they have with drills and shit. They had a giant donut. They had a donkey dick out there, which is the thing that's straight up. You hit it and all this and that. And Seth's take was, how the fuck do you teach somebody how to tackle with? And they were just walking the drills and shit. And I'm going like, man, there is zero sense of urgency out of practice, man. There's no game tempo. There's none of that.
I saw that video.
I was like this, man. I mean, I asked Mike, see, and I'm biased because I was at a coach who won at every level and won championships at every level. And he's in the Hall of Fame at every level. And he used to say this, when you run the drills, run like you're in a game. And I used to go, why? He goes, because that's game tempo. Everything you fucking do on a football field has to be game tempo. So when you get into a game, the speed of the game doesn't shock you. And that's why that team starts slow. That's why
that's in anything in life. That's not just in football. That's in anything in life. You got to be prepared for the moment, or else it's gonna pass you by. It's gonna
pass you by. Right on, man.
Exactly. Yeah.
I used to walk into Mike McCoy's practices when he was the head coach of the Chargers, and I used to go like this. Shit. You know who the offensive wide receiver coach was? Of course, it was Sirianni. That's where he got it from. And so I'm sitting there going like this. Dude, these guys do not have a sense of urgency at this practice. And I started thinking, like you said, maybe it's just today's NFL, the CBA and all that other shit. And I think that's really had an impact on how you prepare, because I'll tell you what, I'm watching that same shit and I'm going like this. How are you practicing getting better? You're not getting better. You're going through the motions.
Yeah.
Those are drills just to go through the motions.
Yeah, but shouldn't first round draft picks on defense know how to tackle? I get it, the practice thing where it's like it's gonna bleed over into the game, but we're talking about teaching these guys how to tackle. They should know how to tackle. They're getting paid millions of dollars. Go and make a play, but they don't care. I'm telling you, this is a different era of athlete. It really is. Somebody brings up 2017. Mac Main says in 17 we had real leaders like Malcolm Jenkins. Mac, I want you to think about something for a second. In 2017, we lost our quarterback that was about to be a shoo-in, basically, for the NFL MVP award. That team rallied behind a bench player, a career bench player, in Nick, not a former first-round draft, not a big guy that was on a record, a bench player in Nick Foles, and took him all the way to the Super Bowl. This team can't even rally around the best offense we've ever had in the history of the organization. They can't even rally around that. If we lost Jaylen Herz, just hypothetical, and they needed to rally around, they would never do it. Ever.
It'd be worse.
Ever. We are so far different right now than we were in 2017. I don't even recognize the team
Coaching.
From 17 to now.
It's coaching. Your coaching's different.
It's more than that, though. It's gotten worse. It's gotten worse from the top.
Well, the coaching's gotten worse.
I know, but I think from the top, it's gotten worse.
Well, because the owner didn't have complete. The owner had to fight it. Remember, the owner liked Doug. There was a battle between his two sons, Howie and Doug. He chose Howie. Howie won Howie won the divorce. He got all the houses. He got all the responsibilities. He got all of it. Howie won the divorce. Anywhere. No way is that guy going anywhere. Zander, I want to show you this here, and you tell me. I don't think this is just an Eagle thing. I think this is a league thing here. So I went back in the last 10 years and looked at the Super Bowl winning quarterbacks. 23 Mahomes, 22 Mahomes, 21 Stafford, 20 Brady, 19 Mahomes, 18 Brady, 17 Foles, 16 Brady, 15 Manning, 14 Brady. Can you win a Super Bowl with a guy who's not an elite player at that position? Foles is the only guy.
Yeah, and like I just said, that was give credit to Doug, give credit to the leaders on that team, and give a lot of credit to Nick, who obviously stepped up. But you don't rally around a guy like that without. Don't you think
Foles had an elite moment?
Yeah, well, he did. I mean, for a 3-game span, he was elite.
Don't you think? Right? Don't you think Foles had an elite moment in that 17th season?
Shit, I thought Jaylen Herz was elite in his Super Bowl.
The same way Hertz had an elite season in 22, and that's what it is. That's the best it's ever going to be.
Was elite. If you want to talk about elite, though, in a big moment, I will give Jalen that. I thought he was elite in that game. Now, you can't be elite and have a turnover. That was a bad fumble.
But my point is that's not sustainable.
Yeah.
Because Hertz is not an elite player. He had an elite moment like Foles had an elite moment. These other guys
are the last 10. That's the last 10 Super Bowl quarterbacks you just gave me?
Yep.
I thought you were going down the route of the dual threat, and I'm wondering, I do think that's going to change, right? Because you're looking at the difference.
More of those guys coming in, like
more of those guys coming in, that's the league now. And I think that's perfectly fine. So the numbers are going more toward eventually, one of those guys is going to win, but you better be elite at it. And your window might be significantly shorter with it.
That's right.
Even Lamar, how long is Lamar's window going to be open? I mean, he's a guy that hasn't won, late in the year yet. Now he's going up against Mahomes and the AFC. But, how long is that window going to be
advocate with you here? Can I play devil's advocate?
Sure.
The more elite quarterbacks you have, and you said something just now that's the most important thing you could possibly say, are those windows open? So do you think an owner wants to have a window open of 8 years where you got a guy you're paying $60 million like Prescott, or 4 years playing at $50 million, and those guys get worked in and out, and you get to roll that guy back out, you go back into the draft, you get yourself another guy that's a dual threat guy. You kind of control the roster and the salaries by having guys like that in the league versus these drop back guys. These drop back guys can play 20 years. Those dual threat guys are playing 7 years.
Yeah, no, you're right.
You're controlling the money here a little bit.
No, I just mean, like, can you win with the dual threat? I do think eventually here it's going to happen.
It will.
Like this dude, Jaden Daniels, looks like he's going to be pretty good. Now, he's good in the pocket.
He can throw the freaking ball, though, man.
He can throw the freaking ball. Like, so you can't, that's the thing that's going to change, right? Is the dual threat guys, they used to not be able to throw that well. Jalen's kind of that older mold who really struggled early in his career to throw the football effectively. You're going to see dudes coming out now that just can run and can throw. They have it both. And
I love that Herm Edwards came on and gave us a skinny on Jay.
Yeah, he told us, man. He told us
he's a modern day Randall Cunningham, he said. Remember?
Yeah. I watched so if you guys want to know the level of depression I am in about this team right now, I watched a 45-minute video somewhere on, I think it was on YouTube, or maybe it was NFLplus.com last night, of the 10 greatest Philadelphia Eagles. And they're showing me Brian Dawkins. They're showing me Rockin' Randall Cunningham, Donovan McNabb. Chuck Bednarik, obviously. And I'm watching this film of these dudes play. Reggie, obviously. Jerome Brown was on this list. They were debating whether he should be because he only played 5 years here. And I'm watching the tape of these dudes play ball, and I'm like, that's a different sport. That is a different sport. Not only is it a different sport,
different speed.
It's a different mentality.
Yep.
Those dudes approached every play like they wanted to take your fucking head off.
Yep.
Offensively and defense. They were coming for blood. They were coming to win.
There were less guardrails though in the league.
Now we're at the era of like, hey man, you want to play Fortnite later? Like, dude, what? Fortnite?
Hey, can I be on your podcast this week?
Yeah. You gotta be kidding me, man. I could not believe that Avonte Maddox comment.
Dude, hey, I want to play a game with you. You got time for a game here?
Yeah, bro, I got time.
I want you to do this. Studs and duds in the first quarter poll of the Eagles season. Studs and duds. And here are my studs for the first 4 games of the Eagles.
Duds, empty. Duds, whole team.
I got Barkley. I've got Jurgens. And I've got Brandon Graham. Would you have anybody different as your studs in the first quarter poll of the Eagles season?
Good stud list. Like you could maybe take Jurgens off. He's been good. He hasn't been a stud.
Okay.
Got a lot of penalties. He's had his moments. But I do think when you're filling in for a Hall of Fame guy, then that could qualify as a stud.
I put that and I factored that in.
First time starting. He'll get better at all those little stuff. You could put him in there. Definitely Brandon Graham. I would put Brandon Graham as probably number 1 over Saquon Barkley, because Saquon Barkley was expected to do this. Brandon Graham is 36, and
I didn't expect Barkley to be like that. I did not. I didn't think he was. I did not. Some of you guys were right. You said Sills, better players around him. That's clearly. I
expected it. You know why? Because we didn't sign Xavier McKinney because we went for Barkley. So my expectation was that he was going to make a big impact on this offense, and he has. So, but you're talking about Brandon Graham, dude. We've spent 3 first-round draft picks on defensive linemen. We spent $17 million in free agency on a defensive lineman. I mean, and the year's 24 and 36-year-old Brandon. He's still the best one. He's still the best one. And I don't want to hear that Jalen Carter has more talent. I don't want to hear that Jalen Carter has more. How many players, Sills, and you've been around this league for a long time. Silly, I'm talking to one who's a great example right now. How many players come into this league with so much talent but don't make it to the end? Don't make it. Don't do what they need to do from a professional standpoint to be a great player, to make it in the league. You talk about it all the time. It's one of your biggest regrets in life is that if you knew then what you knew now.
Oh, my God almighty.
So Jalen Carter, I don't want to hear about him right now, man. You got to be consistent. You got to be consistent. Brandon Graham is the best player in that defensive line right now.
How about this? You drafted a guy 30th. You signed a guy, like you said, for 17, and you still can't replace Graham. You still can't replace him.
You definitely can't.
And you clearly didn't replace Reddick. Here's my duds.
The rest of the roster.
Huff, Nolan Smith, and Jordan Davis. And what's significant about this is your biggest free agent sign and 2 1s.
Yep.
2 1s.
Add Nakobe Dean to the dud list. Add Jaylen Herz to the dud list. Add Kellen Moore to the dud list. Add Nick Sirianni to the dud list. Vic Fangio on the dud list. I would add CJ Gardner-Johnson to the dud list.
$8 million.
Anybody else we can add to the dud list?
Devin White.
Yeah, they didn't even give him a chance. I mean, I don't think he's, I guess you could add him to the dud list.
Well, he was, you gave him almost $4 million for something.
Yeah, 3.5. They thought he was going to be at least something. And he hasn't been, but
he can't even make the special teams group.
You put Davis on there, right?
Yeah.
You had who? Davis, Huff, and Nolan Smith.
Davis, Huff, and Nolan Smith. And I also had in the parentheses Howie.
Yeah, Howie's definitely in the dud list this year. Some years that moves just don't work. I mean, this year none of them worked. I mean, look at we could run through the whole list of moves that Howie made in the offseason. None of them worked except Saquon.
Barkley.
That's it. Bryce Huff, no. Devin White, no. CJ Gardner-Johnson, bad move. Should have paid the extra money for Xavier McKinney. I mean, none of them worked. Quinyon, but that's a draft. I mean, look, it's also early on Quinyon, like Sileo said. You got to give him time. I mean, I'm excited with what he's done, but who knows if this organization is going to develop him properly, keep him in Philly properly. Who knows? I mean, we got to figure it out. So, but that dud list, I think there should be even more people on that dud list, but maybe I'll hold off. AJ Brown dud list, 3 weeks.
He's hurt. No way. No, he had
I'm wondering if he.
No,
I'm wondering
though. 140 yards in the first game, and then he got what? How many yards did he have?
I'm just playing.
No,
he's not a dud list. But you don't think there's I don't know. The conspiracy in me is like, is AJ fucking holding off on this team right now? Remember last year? Last year he missed the playoff game. What was the injury at the playoff game last year?
I forgot. He was at a bar he was at a titty bar in Atlantic City.
Yeah, he was.
Watching
our team was getting spanked in Tampa Bay, and AJ Brown was.
Yeah, he was up there. Yeah, he was getting lap dances in Atlantic City. My boy, Billy Godfather, saying, hey, he's up in Atlantic City up here with the honeys. I don't know. So, hey, that leads me to this. Do you think this is going to end well?
I think it has the chance to end well. But here's the thing.
It's still early. Absolutely. Go back to your beginning. Still early.
And you could, and look, we could be 3-1 right now if Saquon Barkley made that catch. Absolutely. Now, we were never beating the Bucs with the way we played, so I'm not even going to throw that in there. But if Saquon makes that catch, you're arguably talking about a 3-1 team right now. The conversation's probably a lot different. I'm probably still sitting here telling you, arguing with Sileo about 13 wins, Jaylen Herz being the MVP and all this bullshit. But it doesn't look good right now. And if leaders step up, if men step up, you need a real leader, a real alpha dude to step up and hold these dudes accountable. Like, I don't know this to be true, but if Avonte Maddox left that locker room on Sunday or has gone through this week and no leader on that locker room said, yo, dude, this is unacceptable. You don't get torched in a game and have that mentality. That's not winning football. That's not how we're going to win. So if they have a leader in there who's holding people accountable, which I'm not sure if they do, maybe they can extract the amount of wins that we're looking for out of this roster. But if you don't have it, I mean, your foundation's cracked. You're at the risk of the whole thing.
I'm going to give you a little insight here. If Jerome Brown was in that locker room,
oh my God,
and that guy was doing that shit, I've seen Jerome fight people in a locker room.
Yeah, I believe it, man.
And he was not ever going to tolerate that. Jerome may have taken a few plays off, but one thing that Jerome did, he started becoming more mature after his rookie year because of what Buddy's influence was on him and Reggie's influence on him. He became better at that. And I promise you, man, I mean, Andre Waters, Zander, I'm going to show you this. Andre Waters is the kind of guy, if you started fucking with his pencil on his desk, he might punch you right in the head. Because he would take that as an insult that you were, or like, can you imagine a guy talking shit out there to an opponent? And again, I think I probably sound like old man here. Andre Waters would have fucking beat him up in the middle of the locker room.
Maybe we need some old man right now. Maybe that's really what we need. Everybody's like, oh, old man, get off my lawn. Well, maybe the old men know something. They've been around this sport. They've been around this world a lot longer.
What, you think Brady's an old man? Brady acts like an old man the way he told Mayfield, hey, Mayfield, you want to have fun? Hey, you want to have fun? I thought championships.
Exactly, Mac. We need old school. That's Mac. I've learned that from doing my show. I sat on here and all year, I'm all off season. I'm telling Sileo, oh, you're wrong. You're bombastic, Sileo, and the Eagles are going to be great. Look at all the off-season moves, and now I'm watching this thing unfold, and I'm like, well, Sileo told me the defense was going to suck. Sileo told me that Jaylen Herz is what he is. Sileo told me we got a coaching problem, and that's where I'm like, is the old man get off my lawn, or is he just right? We need more of that. I think we need more old school. I think we need more, winning mentality, man. We don't have it anymore.
AJ Brown, how much of an impact does he make, in your opinion, coming back?
I
think he makes a big one.
Well, he's going to be big because he's a top 3 receiver in the NFL. So it's going to be big no matter what. You talked about Drake London getting numbers with Kirk Cousins. I mean, A.J. Brown had his two best seasons with Jalen Hurts. Now he's the only guy Jalen will throw to, for crying out loud. But at least he gets open and he makes plays on the ball. So I would say the impact from A.J. Brown will be huge, probably bigger than any other player on the team, including Saquon.
Let's get to some of these super chats before we get you out.
It's
Hey, guys, do me a favor. Please hit that like list. Appreciate it. Little low here. The most obvious thing in this new soft league is that the best teams are the hard-nosed, pro-style head coach-driven teams, yet 90% of the league can't figure that out. It's true. Look at Andy Reid, what he does, Zander. Andy Reid plays his players 2 games in the exhibition season. 2 games in the exhibition season, and they're ready to rock and roll by the time the start of the season comes. I believe that builds a toughness to you, man. The Packers
do super chat right there from James.
It is. It's great. It's a great take.
You would think more people would see that, James. You would think more people would be able to zoom out, and see that a little bit, but it doesn't seem that they are.
But you know what? You know why? No, they do. But you know why? The analytics people in the front office have more say today than what the coaches have. Than what the coach. By the way, that's not a Philly thing. Okay, that's a league
it's
thing.
It's prominent though in Philly.
It is.
It's very prominent in Philly.
Completely prominent. Let's get to another one.
Fultz is an elite player according to Jerry Jones's metrics. I don't know what he's talking about.
Hey, Brian, he had an elite moment, Foles. Okay? He had an elite – well, unless you go back in that guy Brandon Whedon where he said he had one of the greatest arms he's ever seen and he was a stiff at Oklahoma State. I remember that bullshit. Thanks for the super chat, brother. Appreciate it. Go ahead. As long as you're not bringing up any M. Reyes' dumbass takes because he's fucking pathetic today. Okay? Evict this bum. Remember what I told you? I want to punch Hurts in the face. Always end him with that. I'm calling him out right now. Jaylen Herz is a squatter, and I'm not talking about 600 pounds, you groupies.
Wait, I didn't see this. Is that what people are? Is that what Brian was talking about? Jerry Jones was talking about some players' junk. Did that happen?
Oh, yeah. He said something about one of the players has a really giant cannoli. Something. He goes like this. He got 8 inches of whatever. It was really kind of.
Oh my God! I missed that. I don't even know how I missed that. But
Jerry Jones landed helicopters and talking about people's junk. I don't know. I think the old guy's losing it between him and Biden.
He's worth $15 billion.
Hey, between him and Biden, it's like dead man walking. Go ahead.
Yeah, really. Well, we got the same thing. We just got it in covert,
All right, here
we got the wolf, but the wolf is wearing sheep's clothing here.
Yeah. Oh God.
Zander forced himself to put on a hat. You're right, Flex. I had to do it though. I had to do it, Flex.
See, Flexing is in one of those stages of denial too. It's coming around. It's okay.
No, Flexing's not in denial. Flexing's with you. Flexing's been saying it in the chat. People have been ripping.
What's John say about Hurts?
John has started to express his concerns. Because John, here's the tough part about John's job, and I understand this.
He's got to go in. I got it.
No, it's not even that. John has to tote the line between, and this is partly because of what JAKIB has done with him. But old school reporters typically don't make their hay on giving opinions on the team.
Right.
Their job is to be boots on the ground, ask questions, and report on the team. When I have John on Birds 365, I force him to give opinions and make, proclamations and be a talk show host.
Expanding.
It's a different battle. So John battles, between those two things. But when I specifically did say to John, and it was actually today where we talked about Jalen a little bit, because we've talked about it off the air a little bit. He's concerned. He's concerned in some of the regression in the, like he pointed to that play. One of the first plays, and I think it was Dan Orlovsky who did a film breakdown on ESPN. The very first play from scrimmage for the Eagles on offense. It was a very simple hitch curl route. All your receivers sat in the zone, and Dan Orlovsky runs down and he says, this play is taught to quarterbacks from the time that they're 10 years old. It's one of the first plays you'll learn. It's one of the first plays you'll learn how to read a defense. Jalen is supposed to read it inside out. Instead, Jalen's reading it outside in.
That's
now,
right.
John's like every coach at every level would teach their quarterback to read that inside out. Why is Jalen reading it outside in? Like, we're not talking about being a great pro quarterback.
Because it's an easier read that way.
We're talking about simple quarterbacking. Very like Pee-wee, Pop Warner.
You're talking fundamentals.
Fundamental. And Jalen did it. And John's like that. That to me, that's a red flag. Why is he reading that simple play? Not only a simple play, the first play. He knew it was going to be the play before he got walked out in the field. And he still read the play backwards. And by the way, you know who the first read was supposed to be? Dallas Goedert.
Yeah.
It's not like the first read was going to be Johnny Wilson, and Hertz decided to look for Goddard or Dotson. The first read was Dallas Goedert, your best pass catcher in the game. And he went away from it. And that's why I'm like, John is very, very objective and middle of the road kind of guy. He'll talk me off the left. He's very, Sileo is bombastic. He'll give you the full 9 yards. John rides the middle, And so I view that as valuable because
two different
when he starts to say to me, there's concerns here, okay, it is starting to reach a different level. And I've said it about JAKIB Nation where, we've been doing shows here on JAKIB for 4 years, a better part of 4 years now, a little over 4 years, actually. Our fan base has always been on Jaylen Hertz's team, been in his corner, rode with him. And I was with you. I was behind the scenes at the time, working on the controls and not on the shows, but I believed in him too. I'm like, I just watched the dude lead me to a Super Bowl. I watched him, put up a fight next to Patrick Mahomes. I was right there. And now I'm starting to see, our comments are split, man. There's, I put a poll in the chat today, Sills, at the top. I put the chat and there's 454 votes on it right now. So if you didn't vote, go ahead and give it a vote. I put in our YouTube chat, can Eagles win a Super Bowl with Jaylen Hertz as a quarterback? 55% vote yes, 45% no. That's a big switch, and it's switching quicker and quicker and quicker. I did that a very similar poll after the game on Sunday, and it was more like 60-40 against Jaylen Hertz. So, I think the concern is growing, and you got to wonder if it's growing also inside the organization, right? Like, what's Howie think?
Oh no, they're pausing. They're totally, right? They're totally pausing right now and waiting. They're going to let this thing run out. The owner has to be pausing. If the owner paused on Wentz, he's going to pause on this. Okay?
So Matt the Fly Anglo checks in. He says great QBs are consistent. Jalen rarely is, if ever at all. And I would add to that, Matt, you're right. He's not
consistent. Kirk Cousins is consistent.
He's not. Jalen is not consistent. But the other thing I would add to that is Jalen is what we've been saying Brock Purdy is for the last 3 years. Jalen needs everything around him to excel. Everything. And that might give you a little bit, maybe Howie's known this for a while, and that's why he spent $200 million on this offense. That's why he went and got Saquon. That's why he got, extended Devontae and AJ, not just one of them. And I think that's a tough realization, but every fan tells me Brock Purdy this, even A-Track's in here right now saying Brock Purdy stinks. I take Brock Purdy right now over Jaylen Hertz in a heartbeat.
Hey, now I know why the Eagles didn't sign Justin Fields instead of going and getting Kenny Pickett. You know why? Fans in the stands would be screaming for Justin Fields to get in there and play instead of Jalen Hurts, and it'd be easier to bench. Telling you. I know, and I believe that wholeheartedly. They didn't want to create a quarterback controversy because Fields would create a controversy, and they didn't want any of that.
Get him read Lucius's super chat there.
Want to see Jalen grow as a quarterback. Fire Nick.
Lucius, my problem with this is how many coaches are we going to go through?
Jesus criminy, dude. What's Nick going to do? Nick, I mean, honest to God, he's a Band-Aid on the problem. Your problem is upstairs. It's not the guy on the sidelines. He's a Band-Aid fix.
But my other problem with it is how many coordinators and coaches do you want to go through? Because, by the way, if Nick gets fired, that most likely means Kellen and Vic are going to be gone as well.
Oh,
unless they hire from within. But, at what point, Lucius, do we look at the common denominator of all the coaching issues? and point to the quarterback.
So
I mean, look, I get it. It's easy as hell to scapegoat the coaches. It's an easy thing to do. They're not drawing it up right. All that, I get it. But at some point we're gonna have to have the conversation, of it's the guy, it's the engine to this thing is wrong. It's not the tire's not blown. You got a blown engine.
I learned one thing today. Okay. Scuds nad. You know what that is backwards? Dan sucks. I've learned now that Jaylen Herz is dyslexic when it comes to reading defenses. He reads everything backwards. So the new excuse will be he's got dyslexia. So it'll be the coaches, the system, dyslexia, the field. Pick one. I'll tell you what, man. He's got fucking dyslexia. Holy shit, I'm going to tweet that out. There we go. Jalen Hurts has got dyslexia. He's reading the defenses backwards. This guy fucking blows.
Oh, God. You can't get me to say that. Prince Cali checks in. The only thing that hasn't been consistent is the coordinators. Prince.
It's never going to be.
Prince, let me just say this to you, brother. They had us all believing, me included, that Brian Johnson was the dumbest dude to ever grace a coordinator position in the NFL. That dude's now, I know he's not a coordinator anymore. That dude's QB's coach and pass game coordinator in Washington. And Jaden Daniels looks way better than Jaylen Herz right now. Way better. Not even in the same league right now.
Hertz is the third best quarterback.
It's going to be the same thing this year, though. Last year was Brian Johnson. This year it's going to be Nick Sirianni or Kellen Moore or so. If you want to play that game and go through another coaching staff and go through the whole 9 yards and see it again with Jalen, I mean, I guess you can. The truth is, Prince, that's what's going to happen because they're not moving on from a $120 million dead cap hit. So Jalen's going to be here. The easy thing to do is scapegoat the coaches because they're easy to remove. You can $3 million or $4 million for a coach. You can fire them in a heartbeat. We can't move on from the quarterback.
I'm hiring Monken.
That's who I liked. I mean, I like it because of the similarities and dual threat.
Right. I'm hiring that guy. Hey, Barb, you know as well as I do. You ain't marrying Hertz now, man. He's a third team or he's a second team guy, man. You're gonna marry Cousins or Mayfield now. You ain't dating Hertz. Hertz is yesterday's news. He's dyslexic too. I don't know. He is worth a lot of money. Hey, by the way, congratulations to you, Zander. You guys paid out $255 million to Jalen Hurts and to Carson Wentz, and you fucked both of them up. Pretty impressive how you can do that, man. Both got the Super Bowls. 1-1.
It wasn't my money. Barb's saying I'm on Lurie's payroll. Barb, if I was on Lurie's payroll, I don't think you'd be hearing from me.
You're all on Lurie's payroll because of those exuberant ticket prices you pay. Somebody pays them prices for them salaries, and it ain't him.
True.
Hey, are you kidding me? This is the greatest off bye week I've ever seen.
Can I ask you a question on my way out?
Yeah, please.
What would be Hertz's trade value right now?
Three.
A 3?
Third.
No, it's got to be higher than that.
Okay. Would you take him over Geno?
No.
Okay. Would you take him over? I won't even do it. Would you take him over Jaden Daniels?
No.
Okay. Would you take him over Stroud?
No, definitely not.
Take him over Mayfield?
No.
Would you take him over Derek Carr?
Yeah.
Okay.
Streaky.
Okay.
Streaky.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Would you take him over Daniel Jones?
No.
Okay. You take him over Jacoby Brissett?
Yeah.
Okay. Would you take him over?
Wait. Did I say no to Daniel Jones?
Yeah.
No. I'd take Hertz over Jones.
Okay.
No.
Would you take him
Can't
over?
Can't take Daniel
How about
Jones.
this has changed? I think this narrative has changed. Would you take Jalen Hurts over Kyler Murray?
No, probably not.
I
don't know. Kyler, I never liked Kyler, but
I do now.
He looks better now. No, I fucked up on the Daniel Jones one. That's why he looked at me like that. I'm like, why are you looking at me like that? Daniel Jones, he stinks. No, I still tripped me up with the question.
Would you take him over Sam Darnold?
Sam Darnold looks good right now.
Okay.
Sam Darnold's got 11 touchdown passes right now. My man's slicing and dicing. Remember what's factored into this conversation, everybody.
Where you're playing now.
We got A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, Dallas Goedert, Saquon Barkley, and the top 5 offensive line.
$400 million offense. Absolutely.
You can plug in a lot of quarterbacks that will look good on this team. Boy, I would take almost everybody.
You would take Hertz over Deshaun
Watson?
Yeah.
Probably. Deshaun hasn't been good. I wonder how good he'd be with our line, but
we're going to find out after the bye.
Yeah.
Against your defense, how good this is all going to be when he gets Chubb back. How about this one? Would you take him over Trevor Lawrence?
Yeah, I'll take Hertz over Trevor. I've always thought Trevor was a little. I mean, look, he's got a big arm and stuff, but maybe it would look better with our offense, but I'll still take Jalen there.
Would you take him over Andy Dalton?
Yeah.
Andy fucking Dalton. I'm comparing this stiff to now. Hold on here now. Hey, this is too stupid. I mean,
remember guys, remember when we used to ask
a 41-year-old Aaron Rodgers?
No, I'm taking Aaron Rodgers. Are you kidding me? With Aaron Rodgers on this team, we're going to the Super Bowl.
You're
winning the Super Bowl.
You're winning the Super Bowl with Rodgers. You're winning the Super Bowl.
Dude, this team might win a Super Bowl with Kirk Cousins.
Correct.
Kirk Cousins would look
You might
so
win a Super Bowl with Baker Mayfield.
Yeah, well, the way Baker's playing now, Baker's really playing good football.
So you're not taking Jaylen Herz over Geno Smith?
No. Why would I?
I'm not saying you're wrong.
I think Geno Smith's playing great football right now, delivering the ball on time, on target, good thrower of the football, reading the defense well. I mean, he's processing the game. He's playing football at a high level right now. You got to give the guy credit. You know, he was a. Would
you take Jalen Hurts over Gardner Minshew?
Yeah, I'll take him. I don't think Minshew's a. I don't think
Justin Herbert.
Take Herbert.
Hey, so there's probably about 5 or 6 guys in the league that you could trade him to. Like,
we're out of time. We got Jason Cole coming up, but where's Hurts ranked right now in the league?
New Orleans. He can
this
play.
Is interesting. I've been thinking about this, and I haven't said it. I haven't said it on the show.
Bryce Young to the Eagles?
Well, no. You know what I think about is I think about Bryce Young and how good he looked when the team was really good in Alabama. I know it's different. I get it. It's not college is not the pros. But boy, if you put that dude behind this O-line and give him those weapons, I gotta think he'd be decent. The dude was a Heisman candidate. Did he win the Heisman, Bryce?
Yeah.
He won it, right?
Year.
Yeah, he won
Junior year.
Shit. Although I met Bryce Young in person, man, and
I like the player.
I just think inches on Bryce Young.
Hey, I like the kid, but I just think he's in an unattainable situation there in Carolina.
Yeah.
So
yeah, everybody thinks I hate Jalen. I don't hate Jalen. I told Sileo before the year I thought he was going to win the MVP. I'm worried about Jalen because our team is relying on him. Our team goes as far as he takes us. So if he can't, get better, we're fucked. We're fucked. The brutal truth.
Case closed. How you feeling? Now he came in all optimistic. Now he walks out of here going like this. Fuck.
I'm feeling good. We're 2-2. We should be 3-1.
Oh, that ain't. Hey, keep telling that to yourself, man. You better write that on your hand, man, and keep looking at it.
Got so many problems, though, man.
Oh, it does.
They got so many problems.
And there's so many of them that are self-inflicted.
Yeah, they are.
They're
not. No leaders. We got all yes men.
You put the talent together, man. You put it there, and you start running down the names. You got players here, man. You do, but you know what you're doing now? You're playing chess when you should be playing checkers. And you have a different board, you have a different mentality. The owner's too involved. I mean, it's too much bullshit going on. Hey, you got a worm of a coach. The general manager's all over the place. And again, it's because he's a fucking gate. I mean, I didn't say that, but I mean, it's what it is. It's
Brandon, it's a good thing you can't tell me what side to be on, brother. I'm my own man. I'll do whatever the fuck I want, Brandon. So thank you very much.
Xander's not in a very good mood right now.
Lucky for me, Brandon, your opinions of me don't cash checks, brother. They don't pay the bills. They don't do anything I need to do in life. So you can cry all you want. We're talking about the Eagle football team. I care about this football team. I want this team to win for the city. Me talking about the problems should be the least of your worries. You should worry about the damn team like I am, instead of worrying about what I got to say about them, Brandon.
Xander got
Brandon. Fuck you, Brandon. Sorry, buddy. I appreciate you being here, but I mean, seriously.
Yeah, Brandon, man. Sorry about that, dude. Holy shit, I'm on the other side of this now, dude.
I've been an Eagle fan my whole life. I got one. Wait. I've been an Eagle fan since I was born. I grew up in this city. I still live in this city, and because I'm concerned about the $200 million offense that's underperforming and our shitty organization that's having major issues right now in the last year and a half. Brandon wants to tell me I can't be an Eagle fan anymore. Oh, Brandon, fuck you, Brandon.
This is too freaking good here, man.
I mean, what a stupid comment. I get it. You can disagree with my opinions all you want, but don't tell me to not be an Eagle fan.
What up, fellas? We came out of the bye with a loss. Get ready for everyone to turn on Jalen and Nick.
Yeah, you're right about that, Sileo.
Hey, Nick's already out the door. Jalen's right now with 1 foot out the door. All right, Zander, we got to roll here because we got
to roll, man.
Homeboy coming on the other side. Thank you so much, my friend. Hey, you doing anything this weekend?
I'm gonna try and do a show maybe on Sunday. I don't know. I'll do something. I'm gonna try and do something on the channel. I got a lot of clips I'm gonna post up from the shows. I'm working this weekend. I'm working on the JAKIB merch and everything. So a lot of fun stuff going on at JAKIB. So I'm excited to launch it, man. Some of the merch looks really good. Shout out to Abe who's been writing me up. Akbar, I'm working on the bum juice design. Akbar, bum juice is no longer just Jalen, man. Bum juice is the team. The team is bum juice. So a lot of fun stuff though happening. I'm really excited with everything that's been going on. JAKIB Nation's been showing out, so I'll try and do a show though for sure.
All right, Zander, we'll catch you on Birds 365 on Monday as well. Thank you so much, brother.
Thank you, Big Sills. Appreciate everybody in the chat, including you, Brandon. Appreciate y'all.
Guys, do me a favor. Hit the like button. Our friend Jason Cole, our national football reporter, is going to be right around the corner. Keep it here, National Football Show.
If you missed any of today's show on the JAKIB Media channel, listen to the podcast on your way home. Available on YouTube, Apple, and Spotify.